Welcome back and good morning. Well, I've been planting for just a little bit and it's been going good. It's a little cooler today, but I got an alarm on my monitor. It said that row unit 8 was not planting, so I went to go check it out, and everything that I could tell looked the same, looked right until I noticed the chain was turning, but the row unit wasn't turning. So there's don't drop it. I ended up taking this off because I didn't want to lose it. So this piece connects the drive chain sprocket to the planter box, and this turns, and then this turns the seed plate, which lets seed come out, and everything was turning and the seed wasn't coming out. The problem was there's a hole there, like a cotter key attached to the shaft on the planter box, and it was missing. I don't think sheared off. First I thought sheared off, but there was a little bit of a worn spot in the plastic of the planter box, and I think that key must have just kind of worked its way out. So easy enough fix, but I don't have one of those. So Dad luckily was just at the barn, is at the barn. So we have an extra row unit there. And so Dad's going to rob the one off of that, and then he's got to go to town to get some other parts for me. So he'll get another one of those or two, and hopefully we don't have to mess with that. I hadn't had that issue before. At least I haven't. Maybe Dad has, but easy enough fix. But I'll be down for 5-10 minutes till Dad gets back, and then rolling again. Back in business. No alerts. Good plan. So I am glad I went through and strip tilled all this again. I think I told you that. Well, I'll just say it again. I think it also kind of held some of this water from running too bad through here. I mean, it wasn't perfect when I strip tilled it again, but I know I'll speed up. But it's not bad. So I just filled up with seed, and what that does obviously adds a lot of weight. And so I'm just gonna get out here. I'm gonna get out here and check a little bit, make sure that the settings all still look good. Some places it looks a little wet, like I'm putting too much weight down, but also it's getting warmer, and so I think that's going to kind of coincide with where the settings are going to be fine the way they are. But just kind of looking at these parallel arms, making sure they are kind of tipped back. That's the arm that connects the planter to the frame, and so those all still look pretty good. Also just kind of make sure the planter still looks like it's riding pretty level, which I do believe that it is. And then lastly, just gonna check and make sure I still look good here. See if I can't find you a seed. Right there's one. That's kind of where we want to be. Second knuckle. Actually looked a little dry right there. Drier than I expected. Uh-oh. I'm not going to go 2 for 2. Must have scratched it up. There she is. Top to knuckle. Second knuckle. That's where we want it. Alright. Things appear to be good in my not expert but learning opinion. Alright, I think I got a rock. That squeal is, the scrapers normally do that, but that kind of off and on. Somewhere over there I think I got a disc that's got a rock in there. So I'm gonna go check it out. See if I can find it. Alright, this one sounds terrible. I'm gonna start there. scrapers can sound bad. They scrape. So just kind of, unless I got it out and don't realize it. Left-hand threads on this side. Well, I didn't really find anything, so this was really small and it came out when I took the stuff off, or it just worked itself out, but now it sounds normal. There's always a squeak. Those discs, metal on metal, that makes a terrible noise. But that was a distinct difference. It was it was happening kind of like, obviously as the disc goes around, I hear a different squeak. So I'm telling Denton, like, he needs to learn how to drive the tractor and car and things like that. It's like, you got to know what normal is like, gauges and sounds and appearance and all that, so that when something's wrong, you just know, hey, that's not normal. And that's a life lesson for us in the world too, right? They always say that the experts that are studying, like trying to catch counterfeit money, they don't study, there's so many counterfeits, they don't study the counterfeits, they study the truth, so that they can recognize stuff that's off, because you can never learn all the ways people are going to try to cheat the system. Well, that's the same with truth. You have to know truth. You have to know God and know Jesus and what the gospel says, truth, so you can recognize things that are false, counterfeits. And there are lots of counterfeits, and that's what we're trying to teach our kids. That's what we're trying to learn as adults, is know the truth so that we can recognize falsities and lies that the world is, chock full of them, and trying to tell you that those lies are truths. And if you disagree with those lies, then you're the bigot, or you're the one that's hateful. What a jacked up way to look at it. So, know truth. Know the normal sounds. Know the normal gauges. It'll make you a better farmer and a better person. I just lack one through here to be done, and then the cutoff on the end, and then I'll be done. It'll be time for lunch, but I'm going to be tight on seed. I think that'll do it. I'll check a couple more just to make sure. Oh yeah. The ends were a little bit, for some reason the ends are a little bit less than the other ones. It always kind of seems to be that way. I think I can do it. So far on these seed firmers, mud's not sticking to them, just like they said they wouldn't. It does a little bit further up, but this is where the seed is here on the bottom, so far so good. Everything's still planting pretty good. Good moisture. We're good. Got this side knocked out, and then after lunch I'll move over to the east side of my parents' house. I've got to move some things. That's gonna clear. So I don't have to move that, but definitely need to move these things. Guess you can tell I didn't quite get to all this. I'll get to it sometime. The guy never came, and man, I was blowing and going just to get strip tilling and all that done, so didn't quite get to all this. That's gonna clear, right? Oh yeah. I'm just gonna move this just in case. Got a wrench. Oh, I'm not moving that block. Okay. if I can move this. Maybe. Maybe I can't. Okay, I'll go slow. Got her done. Field number 2, on to number 3. I hadn't filmed much. I've just been in and out of the tractor a lot. Got moved over to this field and just had a lot of up and downs. I'm having some issues. Let me try to show you what's happening. So when I strip tilled the second time, I think I remember this from last year. It seems like, you know, those baskets have angled tines, and as they spin, it seems like they throw the dirt to one side of the strip till path more than the other, which is fine, but it kind of makes it seem like the rows are shifted. I keep checking my offsets to make sure that they're not. So let me show you. So that's the exact middle of the row, but here's the mound, and the mound is over there, but the middle of the row here. And so I think that this mound was created from that basket throwing the dirt over to here. So what's happening is it's trying to plant right in here, which this is soft and there's moisture there, but it has, you can see that it's throwing way more dirt off of this side than this side. And I was fighting that because it was making me look like I was planting in a hole, which I kind of am, because you can see there's just like a ridge, because here's the dirt and there's moisture under there, so I hate to be throwing that off, but it's planting here, and because here was the trench. And so I had to get the planter, I had to get the row cleaners down enough to be able to throw that dirt away from the trench part, which was making it throw more dirt from the mound part. And then when I lower the row cleaners, it makes my planter sit too low, and then I'm not getting it into good wet dirt, so I have to lower the planter toolbar to put more down pressure. So it's that back and forth of toolbar, row cleaners to keep my angle that I want. So I think I've got it. And so the biggest, really the hardest issue is where I strip tilled the second time and where I drove the row that's between my duals. So like for here, this is that row is between my duals. But where I strip tilled, let me see if I can find it. So this would be one. Here's the dual, because 40-foot toolbar here, 32-foot toolbar with the strip till, so I'm not matching up with my pattern. So this row was between the dual and the regular one before, and so the same issue. Here's the mound, here's the end of the mound and the trench, but the planter wants to go right in there, and the one between the duals is harder, and so I've had a hard time. I got it now where it's planting into good moisture and leaving a little bit of wet dirt on top, which I want. But the other thing that was causing is the little gauge wheels on the next to the disc openers were uneven because valley hill, right? So they were running kind of like this, which was affecting my planting depth, which I don't want. And so I'm finding some rows are planting too deep and getting too much in a hole, and some where they're pinched between the tires are not perfect. And so trying to find that happy medium, it's been a chore. So what do you do? Like I don't really like this. Like all this here is good wet dirt, but I don't know. What can I gotta figure something out on that strip till, I guess, where it throws that dirt back more straight, I guess, unless you guys got a different option or got an idea for me. And the last thing is, I think it's drier. It's just drier over here. It didn't rain as much as where I just was. And so all of those things together, making this for a fun adventure. But I'm gonna do a couple more throughs here and I'm going to go home. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Well, welcome back. I've been going for a little bit. I got out here. I just was unsettled yesterday about how I was planting here. I don't know how I was planting onto the side of the hill, and I don't know. So I called Dad and we fixed it, at least for now. We just shifted the tractor over 6 inches, and now we're planting in the middle of the bed. Only thing I can figure is that the second pass of the strip till, those row units were walking on me and maybe pulled me off to one side. It's been consistently to one side though, which is kind of strange. You kind of would have thought if the plow was pulling to the right, then this direction it would be to the right, and when I turned around it would be, east and then west. But it's been consistently, I've shifted consistently 6 inches to the east. So that part I don't understand why that's working out the way that is, but it's planting a ton better, much more consistent on top of the bed. The moisture is plenty when you get on the bed where you're supposed to plant. That was a mess. I was trying to plant the right rows. The right spot was trying to tell me to plant, right as the hill of the bed was going up, and so one gauge wheel was kind of higher than the other. It was not fun. So glad to get this going, and hopefully this is going to be the fix for the rest of the day, and hopefully I don't have this issue the rest of the time. No issues at the first two places anywhere I've planted so far. So we'll just, if we do have that issue, I'll just shift over 6 inches one direction, whatever that way that is. For some reason though, I'm wiggling. I'm walking on the bed. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I don't know. This ground is really good ground. It's mellow, it's smooth, and I don't know if that's part of it, but part of it is the planter is now on top of that bed, and I know it's walking on top of the bed. And so I've turned my steer sensitivity up. I tried turning it down to see if that might alleviate the issue. It did not. It seemed to make it worse there for a little bit. So we'll try a little bit higher, and hopefully I can keep it straight, make my cotton stripping a little bit easier in the fall, winter, whatever time that we strip cotton. All right, I got a fence over here. I better, holy moly. And I'm gonna miss my row. This YouTube stuff. It's gotta be careful. Well, I just had this through right over here. Real strange. All of a sudden, it's like I was driving on top of the row. And so I took the 6 inch shift off, and it seemed to be doing really good. And so I thought maybe something changed right there moving forward. So I'm on the next through over, back to 6 inches to the east. It was way off then. So I don't understand. I don't know what's going on, but that was weird. All of a sudden I was way off, and then I was perfect, and now I don't know. I'm trying to think when I did this. It wasn't around the solar eclipse or anything. Maybe something was going on with my GPS when I strip tilled this. I don't know. Hopefully that's not going to be a trend. It's been good for over 50 acres. It's been really good since we shifted over the 6 inches, and then just boom, something went weird. So I don't know. And this is all jacked up. Half of my planter is perfect. You can't see that. This side over here is planting almost completely off the row, because these rows were planted on one pass of the strip till, these were on the other, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. I'm hoping all of a sudden that this isn't going to be again an issue throughout, but I don't know how to, you can't really set the planter when it might be different on the next through. So I don't know what's going to happen. That's the issue with not having toolbars match up, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just going to have to, I think I'm just going to commit to the 6 inches being the right thing, because it's now good on this side of the planter, but the side that it's like that 1 through of 8 rows was way off. I don't know. Very, very strange. So I'm just gonna commit to the 6 inches, unless it's like multiple throughs in a row that it's off. But I don't know why that one was off. It was more squiggly, so I don't know if the planter or that strip till followed something different that time, or maybe the GPS was kind of screwed up worse that time. I don't know. Well, I'm getting close to done. Time to proceed. And I gotta walk a little bit. Good thing it feels so nice outside. Actually, it's not terrible because the humidity's down. It's just hot, but this is cotton growing weather. Cotton likes the heat, but also likes water. So we got good moisture for right now. Let the cotton grow, and then once it gets established, you'd like a drink, and then just an occasional drink throughout the summer. It really doesn't need much for dryland cotton. It's kind of remarkable. Just needs more than we got last year, and lots of years. Just needs a little water. Now I'll put some talc in here, kind of acts as a lubricant. Isn't that satisfying? Cut off row, point rows, remember? Get to the end, I'll be done with this farm. On to the next one. Over there. I couldn't tell if I was going to make it or not. Ooh, I don't know. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to get clear, but then I'm going to hit this pole here. And then when I need to pick up, I'll be underneath this pole, which could be not good. Man, so close. Time for seed again. This place is, one, it's hard to plant this time of day because the rows run east and west, and there's the west. So going east, I can see behind me pretty good. But going, no. going east, I can't see at all. But actually, when I'm going into the sun, I can see behind me better. So it makes it kind of hard to set the planner when I'm going the direction I can't see, obviously. And then the other thing to compound it is this GPS is off here again. Not as bad, just like a couple inches sometimes. So I just gotta I got the planner set pretty good where I want it, where I'm in good moisture and everything looks good. But I gotta get going, and then I see if it's still leaving a mound on one side, then I shift towards that side so I'm in the middle of the bed. Man, this is at the other place, at least it was consistently 6 inches the whole time, and I could just leave it alone until the end, or it got a little bit interesting for some reason. So I don't know what's going on. I do know that it's different each pass here, so that makes it really inconsistent on the planner, because again, toolbars don't match. So that gets me thinking, obviously buying a whole new 40-foot toolbar for the strip till, that'd be very expensive. Maybe we could add on, like Dad added on to the planner. Maybe I could add on to the strip till, although it pulls a way more of a load than the planner does. It's way more weight, so I don't know. I have to ask it if you think we can weld that strong enough to put another strip till unit on either end, which we have the units. We just need to add on the 7x7 tubing. So it gets me thinking, because ain't nobody got time for this, even though it's not happened before. I don't know why it's happening now. It wouldn't make sense that, Deere would want us all to get into new equipment, GPS receivers and monitors that I don't have because these still work. They wouldn't sabotage the technology we do have to make us get new, would they? No, that's crazy. It's also crazy, Apple wouldn't release updates to our iPhones that cause the batteries to stop working when the phone gets a certain age and they release a new phone. That's crazy too. So I'm planting a Dynagrow seed. Dynagrow, it's 3402. Dynagrow 3402. Bullguard 3, which just means it's got all the latest bull protections on there from different protection from pests and things. We can spray almost we spray Roundup over the top, and it is dicamba. We can't use dicamba over the top because of those that ruling I told you about. It's no good. So, but it's been really good for us. Dad started planting it a year or two before I came back. He'd always planted a Fibermax variety. He liked it, went out and took it out, and so this one was a comparable. We like an early to mid maturity, and we like smaller plant, so we don't have to manage it, meaning we don't have to spray growth regulators and things. Although I've heard some guys at a dryland that do spray that, they said it helps with harvest. That growth regulator is supposed to help it set fruit instead of grow vegetative. We've never done it, so I don't know. Maybe if I'm already going across something with a pass, maybe I'll throw some in and try it on a portion side by side to see. But with this variety, it naturally wants to grow smaller. Now it can get big if we have a lot of water, but it naturally wants to stay smaller. And a big deal is it's got smooth leaves. A lot of cotton can be hairy leaved or semi-smooth, which probably is hairy if they're calling it semi-smooth. But what'll happen when it freezes or when you defoliate, the hairy leaves will stick to the lint and they won't fall off as good, and they're harder to clean out. And so you might get when they gin the cotton, you might get a leaf dock on your on your cotton. So the smooth is nice because it doesn't do that as much. And so those are kind of some of the characteristics that Dad has liked, and now I like, and it makes sense to me. And so keep rolling with it. Now I'm just planting one variety everywhere. That's kind of what we've done, and our ground is all pretty similar, and it works. Some guys plant other different varieties because of maybe they're spread out or different soil types, or maybe they just want to try. I don't know. Part of me thinks maybe I should, who knows? Something's good, they're liable to take it away soon. So always go to seed meetings, looking at different companies, like what varieties they offer that are similar characteristics like I just told you. And there's not really many that are like, most of them are not smooth leaf, that's one, and most of them are taller plants, which means they can get out of control if you don't put picks on them. So yeah, there's just not a ton of varieties are set up for our area. They're for southeast with lots of water or irrigation, and so this one has been really good for us. Hope it is again this year. The truth of the matter is there are way too many varieties of seeds, and there's a chance that some of these varieties are the same companies, are just labeled, you putting their own label on it. No way, they wouldn't do that, right? There's a decent chance that there's far less varieties of cotton than it seems, but I have no proof of that. But there are lots of varieties, and the companies are constantly coming out with new ones, and which just muddies the water. Why can't we just find a couple good solid variety choices and roll with that? Because there's money to be made off as farmers buying these seeds at really high prices and watching our markets just go down. Alright, enough complaining and talking to you about stuff. I'm just going to plant for a little bit longer. The sun is, if you can't tell, it's going to set soon. Long days in the summer. I'm just gonna go until it's dark, and then I'm gonna go home. See what I mean? Can't really see much, so and the dust doesn't help. This way, which I can see. When the shadow goes that way, you can see over there. See some moisture in the row. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it there. I just gotta trust it's there. I'm gonna stop. It's really hard to see, and I think it's getting a little wetter as I go, and I'm afraid that I'm putting it into too wet dirt and I can't really see very good, so I'm gonna stop. First I'm going to take these end caps off of the vacuum, and so all this chalk can blow right towards me, but we just do that every night. Just take the cap out. And all this stuff comes everywhere. Thanks for watching. If you're gonna farm it.